Uh, Hello, everybody. Welcome back to yet another video. I'm here with Abby here. Abby, how are you doing?
Yeah, good. How are you doing, Jigs?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. We're back just to review the game, England versus New Zealand. Your prediction was right. I'll accept that. What are your thoughts?
I'm the cricket guru, man. I just know how the game's gonna play out. If you want to do any sports betting, tell me because I'll probably know it. I'm not saying I'm a match fixer, but
Yeah,
no, I mean, if you just looked at England's team and squad ahead of the first game and compare that to New Zealand, it's what we talked about, man. England doesn't have the spinners to contain such a low score, and unfortunately, this time they didn't make a big score, right? So that's going to be England's issue, I think, throughout the tournament. If they don't make a big score to start up, then it's going to be tough for them, I think.
yeah, no, perfectly sounded. I thought that the way they played, the way they approached it, like we said, you can't go gun ho in like a place like India. The cricket you have to adapt. Like you saw Joe Root, we spoke about. Joe Root was pretty clinical the way he played, and that's why he was the most successful England player. But the
Yeah,
rest don't support him. The thing with England is they have 11, like 10 to 11 batters, but that just that just means that no one takes accountability because they're just waiting. Oh, we have another person after. We have another person after. Whereas, like if you see on New Zealand, they'll have like seven, eight solid batters, and that's you have to score the runs. That's your job. So it's I think it's much more clear the way New Zealand's team makeup is. What do you think of that?
yeah. I mean, you can look at it in some of the dismissals. Like if you looked at Johnny Bairstow, for example, he got quickly to 30 runs, and England was doing well until that point, and then he got out chipping the ball straight to long off. Like when I saw that wicket, I was thinking, what are you doing? Like you could have easily hit that ball along the ground, got it for two, but he tried to go to hit it for four and just got out. It's like I was speaking this before, and it was uh, you mentioned that England goes hard, but in test matches, that's like an ingenious approach. Not many teams go hard in test matches. But in one day internationals, every team has played enough one days now that they're scoring big runs, every team scoring 400. Every team knows how to go hard. So the key in ODIs still remains to be able to switch gears and, lay a solid platform so that after 30 overs, you're maybe only like one or two wickets down, and then you can play a T20 game. So
So
that's something that England didn't do, and they gave their wickets too easily.
yeah, and considering New Zealand had the senior pros out, if you call it, like Kane Williamson, Tim Southey. So Tom Latham had to juggle three, three out of the five bowlers were his main bankers for 10 overs. The other
Yeah.
20 overs were bowled by Rachin Ravindra, Glenn Phillips, and Jimmy Neesham. So
Yep.
if they played a bit smarter, they could have used those 20 overs and could have capitalized more. But
Exactly.
they gave wickets to like someone like a Matt Henry. So whenever Matt Henry came on, he got
Yeah.
wicket. So it always obviously stops the run flow, and then England had to start over and over again.
Exactly. And Matt Henry bowled really well, He found the right length on the pitch and he was seaming the ball in and out. Um, if you saw the way he got Joss Butler out, just putting a little bit of pressure, sticking to his length and then slightly bringing one in. And Joss Butler is trying to force the issue and gets out. But I think the real missed opportunity is the batsman before Butler. Harry Brook, for example, in that over against Rachin Ravindra, four half trackers. He hit three of them for boundaries. And the last one, where if he wasn't in the right position, the right thing to do would be to hit it for two. But he tried to hit that one for six as well and got it out straight to the fielder in the deep. There was only one fielder out there.
Yeah,
So
that
it's these kind of things, which is just smart cricket, where, like, for example, Kohli does this well, which is like he'll still take 2 runs. 2 runs is better than zero, but getting out is the worst. So, yeah.
yeah, it's percentage cricket. Brook needs to learn. Like I know they say the one day is an extended version of a T20, but it doesn't work like that. You just got to play a bit of percentage cricket. You've got your three boundaries in the over.
Yeah.
If you knock it for one or two, you still get that 14, 15 runs in the over. So I think
Exactly.
you need to learn that. Otherwise, I don't see. I think he'll be the direct replacement. If Ben Stokes comes in, he goes out. I think that's what I can see.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And that's
and
the thing. It's just
yeah,
a bit smarter cricket, you know. As the formats in cricket get longer, there's more opportunity to be clever, I feel.
yeah.
You know, changing your bowlers effectively, setting the right fields, and playing around with these kind of strategic things. Whereas England is not necessarily doing that in the one day game. You know, even they banked on Adil Rashid to be their trump card, but Adil Rashid doesn't get wickets out of guile. You know, if you look at a bowler like Ashwin, who only really has an off spinner and a ball that goes straight, he's still varying his pace. And actually, not even Ashwin, Mitchell Santner, you know, he only bowled the ball that turned away. He didn't even bowl the straight one, but he's just varying his pace, he's varying his flight, and these kind of small things where Rashid wasn't doing that, you know. He's trying to either bowl a big leg spinner or a big googly, and Ravindra today was just too good for him. You know, hitting them out of the ground, and that's the thing with England. It's like you've got to play with a little bit more guile and a little bit more match awareness, which I
I
think the
think
New Zealand players played better. You know, they played the situations better, whereas England really didn't.
no, I think the way like England bowled to both sides of the wicket, that was another problem. So obviously, you only get your nine fielders if you include the bowler and the keeper. If you exclude them,
Exactly.
but they were bowling both sides of the wicket. Wokes is not swinging the ball, so he just becomes less effective. Sam Curran bowled his 2 overs. He bowled the two maidens, but then after that he got hit for 47. So
Yeah.
you could see like there's lack in the bowling. Maybe play a Reece Topley or someone. They need that out and out right fast bowler. Like Mark Wood probably just bowled what 5 or 6 overs, which I feel is not good enough. Like if you're gonna play someone like a Wood, he has to bowl you. He has to be a premier bowler.
But the problem with Mark Wood yesterday was that he was getting picked off really easily. And that's the other thing, right? On Indian wickets, you know, batting tracks. Sometimes your fast bowlers are going to do good, and we discussed this in our podcast. Sometimes they're going to go for runs because the batsman will just line them up. They have a good day, and it was Mark Wood's day to be lined up. You know, he was bowling back of a length, and Ravindra and Conway were happy to pull him. You know, play him, drive him. Their timing was really good, and we can't take anything away from the batsmen. You know, they played the situation perfectly. They were getting a boundary every over, and then the rest of the over, unlike England, they were just relaxing, getting the twos, getting the singles. You know, so every over was going for 6, 7, 8 runs, and that made the chase really easy in the end and risk free. You know, neither of them actually gave a chance to get out. So I think that's looking really good for New Zealand because they showed that even with their smaller batting lineup, you know, less talent, we say, they're still playing smart cricket. And in one day ODI cricket, um, being able to just have 7 batsmen and score 300, you're going to win a lot more games than you're going to lose.
Yeah, I thought now you've broken that down really well. And going on to like Rachin Ravindra, like you saw the way he played this innings. Like uh, I don't know if people know that in during the final, the 2019 final, he was in Bangalore in a cafe watching that game.
Yeah,
So you can imagine what he's gone through there as a youngster, and he scores his first debut 100. It speaks volumes about him, considering he had a bad day with the ball. He considered 10 over 70, and the way to come back and just do this, like he's just blown people out. Like people now, all the pundits are now looking at New Zealand like, wow, they're in
yeah,
back. And the main thing, like, which I saw, like, from a coach's perspective, looking at it, is the way he drives that ball, like the straight drives. You could that's a proper classical left-hander, and Devon Conway's cover drive. I think
yeah,
that just stood out for me. Like, what do you think of that?
yeah. I think the shot that stood out for me were two shots that Ravindra played, where he hit them kind of over long on, one off Moeen Ali, and I think one was off Chris Wokes. And both of them just straight drives, you know, full swing of the bat, completely through the line, and he's hit them so cleanly for six. And that was like in the first over that Moeen Ali came to bowl, and like there was no chance to let Moeen Ali settle at all. So
Yeah,
just having the skill and technique to do that, play against the turn, but hit the ball so cleanly for six. That I thought was really impressive.
yeah. No, it's gonna do wonders. I think what's gonna happen if Williamson comes in, he'll come in, but then Rachit Ravindra will move up the order, and Will Young will have to miss out.
Yeah,
So that's what New Zealand's makeup would look like.
yeah,
Another thing, what about Devon Conway? Like the more there's never more praise from him. He's so good, like being like just there. He's played the IPL, and you can see how he's adapted. And that 150, like he never looked phased.
yeah. And that's the whole thing. I think Devin Conway, which makes him so good. He knows what he's good at, and he plays those shots well. That's it. He keeps it simple. He wasn't trying to do crazy, crazy shots, none of the ramps or anything. He's not good at those shots. He knows he can cover drive, he knows he can sweep, he knows he can reverse sweep, and he sticks to those and plays them well, which I
Yeah,
think is, as long as you know your boundaries, you can hit boundaries. That's so Devin Conway really, that's what I find most impressive about him. And you said he was not getting phased. Like he knew that whenever he needed a boundary, he could go to one of his key shots. So I think that's one of the most important things. And even like as club cricketers or people playing in lower levels of cricket, you always want to know your best shots, the ones that you can bank on. And then you're never going to feel pressure because you know that when you get that delivery, you're going to hit it for four. And that's what it seemed like Devon Conway was doing.
yeah. It's all about like we always talk about percentage cricket. Don't always have to go for the maverick shots. Uh, like what we talk about is like sometimes old-fashioned one-day cricket wins you the game. This was old-fashioned one-day cricket, scoring at a good rate, not looking to overhit the ball, and not looking to try over fancy shots. So I
Yeah.
think that puts New Zealand in good stead. Like now, the World Cup is truly alive. If you had an England win today, you'd have been like, "Oh, it's just formality." But now
Yeah.
you see, wow, England have got this wake-up call. What do you see in the next game England should be looking at then New Zealand, for a matter of fact?
I think for England, the key will be to have their batsmen play smarter cricket. Batsmen like Bairstow, for example, have the ability to hit a boundary and over, but they need to know to hit singles on every other ball of the over. And if you think about it that way, if you, out of the six balls, if you hit three singles and a four, you've got 7 runs off that over with almost no risk. And you're still playing two dot balls. So that's the kind of outlook I think that they need to look at it, where they need to play a bit smarter when they're batting. And because their bowling is not that strong, they really need to put up big totals. And I think that's the only way England really wins. Batting people out of the game, like you said, because their bowlers don't seem as penetrative, and I don't think their spinners will really pull through and be able to stop runs in the middle overs like other teams.
Yeah. Have your predictions changed regarding where New Zealand finishes, or are they still the same? Like you would say, fourth. You're looking at them at fourth.
No, I thought New Zealand was. I think New Zealand will be third or fourth, because I do think that because they have a little bit of more classical style, they're always susceptible to a team, scoring really big runs and them not being able to chase it. And I think there will be games where that's going to happen easily with New Zealand. So I still see them as maybe third or fourth. But with England, I now put them in that third, fourth category as well. I don't think they're a guaranteed um, a team that's going to move on. Uh, I think Pakistan, New Zealand, England, these guys are in the play for those third and fourth positions. Um, I don't think any of them are really guaranteed. Actually, New Zealand, I think, will move on either third or fourth, but we'll see about England and Pakistan and these teams.
Yeah, as we speak, as you just mentioned, Pakistan. They're playing currently. What do you see? Like obviously they had a shaky start to start with, and they're about like 258 for 8 in 45 currently. So what do you see like? Does the top order still have a lot more work to do? Because considering a Netherlands side and you're three down at the start,
Yeah,
what
I
do we?
mean, Netherlands were able to show that, Pakistan's top order is hit and miss. That's what I'm gonna say. Because we're not gonna say Babar Azam is not gonna score any runs. He's definitely a good player and is gonna score runs.
Yeah,
But Fakar Zaman is gonna be hit and miss. He's gonna have one game where he's gonna score 150, and the next 2-3 games he will score zero.
yeah,
And Imam Al Haq, he needs to kind of be there. He needs to be the kind of player that guarantees at least 30-40 every game. Um,
yeah,
but yeah, you can see that the difference in the teams is that Pakistan has experience, they don't panic, and Netherlands doesn't have experience. Netherlands is not picking the right bowlers at the right time to take the wickets, and they
yeah,
let the game drift, and that let Pakistan into the game. So um, this is the difference in better teams, like even for example New Zealand, England. When a team is three down for 38,
yeah,
they're going to be bringing on their best bowler back again and trying to get another wicket, another two wickets, or they're going to make run scoring really difficult. And I think Netherlands did neither of those things. So that's just a game of experience, and that's what the better teams, they have the experience, they have the match awareness to not panic. And I think that's what Pakistan showed, which is very promising for them.
yeah. I think Shout Shakil, what a find! I think he's a brilliant player of spin from what we saw, like from what I've seen today. I think he'll be that glue in the middle order. Did you get a chance to watch him or?
I watched his batting a little bit, and yeah, he did bat well, and that's the thing. He was hitting really clean shots. His boundaries were of good cricket strokes. But I think personally, in my field, like as well as he did play, I think it was a point of Netherlands kind of gave him those opportunities to let himself free and get off pressure. He
Yeah,
was struggling when he came in. Against Dutt, the off spinner, he did edge a delivery, but
yeah,
after that over, they let him off the hook and they didn't kind of force home that advantage. So I think Pakistan is positive that they have players that are contributing throughout their order. But we'll see how the tournament progresses and if they continue to do that against the better teams as well. But it's a positive step where in the past, you get past the top three in Pakistan and the rest of them were all hitters. Whereas now it seems like South Shugil is not just a hitter and he can play a good measured innings and kind of get the team back on track, which is what I think always missed from Pakistan, which is the reason why they were so up and down. So now that they have some stability, I think it's stronger in that respect for their chances.
yeah. I think Netherlands, just the inexperience showed. Like when you're on top, you need to be make sure you kill the game. Same thing we always speak about. And yeah, so considering we'll chat a lot more about these games in the next episode. We will be reviewing the good games over the weekend, so we'll meet up. Thank you for your time, Abby. That was our roundup from yesterday's game and half of today's game. Yeah, thank you very much. Please do hit the like, share, and subscribe button and to the quick report on Spotify. Is that right?
Yeah, it's the Cricket Report on Spotify or any other podcast channels, Google Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts, everything. So
Yeah. All right. Thank you. Thank you for your time.
cool. All right. See you, Jigs.
See you.